Now let me come to the period of 9/11 and beyond. After the second period of 89 and 2001, why did we join the coalition? I was now in charge in Pakistan. The important question, why did we decide, why did the government and I decided to join the West and United States? Let me give you a rationale. I am not at all sorry about it. I think it was a right decision in the interest of Pakistan. And the rationale that I would like to give, first of all, one had to decide, is our thinking as a state, as a nation, the same as that of Taliban? Do we want Talibanization in Pakistan? The answer is no. Therefore, while Taliban controlled 90% of Afghanistan and they had carried out the terrorist attack in United States against the World Trade Center, we could not have been on the side of the Taliban. The other point that I want to make is that the whole world, including China, including every country of the Muslim world, was together to punish Afghanistan, together to have action against Afghanistan. So could we have been on the side of the Taliban, who were not in Pakistan's interest, and also opposed the whole world? And then there were other socio-economic issues also with our socio-economic relations with the West and United States. And lastly, the most dangerous, United States had to attack Afghanistan. The only way was from the east through Pakistan, either with Pakistan or through Pakistan with India. That was another option, and India was prepared to give them all facilities to facilitate an operation in Afghanistan. That would have been possible through trampling Pakistan and then violating our sovereignty and then going into Afghanistan. So all these issues from military strategy point of view, socio-economic issues, political and diplomatic issues, the decision that I took was absolutely correct, that we need to be with the world and with the West. The next point that I want to kill here is a lot of misperceptions that I only on a telephone call buckled and agreed to all the preconditions laid down. This is all nonsense. I am not a person who buckles down under any kind of pressure in front of anybody. So therefore, the fact that the demand of United States was to give them all the airspace of Pakistan, give them all the airfields of Pakistan to be used against Afghanistan, give them the port of Karachi to Pakistan, to United States, I didn't agree on that at all. And these parleys continued for at least 7-8 days. Then only we came to an agreement that we gave only a very narrow airspace for United States flights and no use of any air base for any purposes, only 2 air bases, Shamsi and Jacobabad, and that too for logistic support and recovery purposes. And we didn't give Karachi port at all. So this misperception that I buckled on one telephone call is absolutely nonsensical. Now, after 9/11, when the operation was launched, it led to military victory for the military defeat of Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and they ran into the mountains and cities of Pakistan. There was a political vacuum in Afghanistan. Here I would like to point out, with this military political vacuum, the military delivered against the Taliban. The military, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand, is not the ultimate solution to problems. Military only buys time and creates an environment for other instruments of state to be used for ultimate solution. Now here was an opportunity where the military delivered, defeating Taliban and Al-Qaeda. Now was the requirement of converting from military to the political and ensuring that the military victory gets converted into a political victory. And what really was political victory? The political victory was that we put a government in Kabul with the dominance of the Pashtun majority, who are about more than 50% of Afghanistan. So while the United States won a victory with the Northern Alliance, which were of minorities, Uzbek, Tajik, Hazaras, and the Pashtuns were, the Taliban were all Pashtuns, we needed to take Pashtuns on board and put them in dominant position in political authority in Kabul. I used a term back in 2002 and 3, all Taliban are Pashtuns, but all Pashtun are not Taliban. So let us wean away Pashtuns from the Taliban and install them in their right place in governance in Kabul. That would have led to the real Misaq-e-Milli that was required in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, this did not happen. We did not convert a military victory into a political victory, and that was another biggest blunder, because of which we still are suffering. And Afghanistan even now is being governed with the dominance of minorities to the alienation of the Pashtun majority. This has been the greatest blunder. The Taliban resurgence in Afghanistan after their defeat in 2001 started in 2004. So this window of opportunity, I would say, of putting a political or converting a military victory into a political victory, this opportunity existed for 2 years. A window of opportunity existed for 2 years, where there was a total political vacuum in Afghanistan, and we could have come to a political solution. I think this 2-year window of opportunity was wasted, and that was the biggest blunder. Now, the complexity of the situation in Afghanistan, in Pakistan has increased. While in Afghanistan, Taliban resurgence has taken place, Al-Qaeda has gone down with all operations in the cities and mountains of Pakistan. But Taliban resurgence has taken place, and Taliban dominate the scene in Afghanistan. In Pakistan, we confront multifaceted threats. One is Al-Qaeda, but as I said, gone down, controlled, suppressed. The other is Taliban, Pakistani Taliban in our tribal agencies, who go and abet with the Afghan in Afghanistan against the coalition forces and against the Afghan forces. The third is the threat of Talibanization, where they want to spread an obscurantist ideology, religious ideology, and obscurantist understanding of Islam, which they want to spread into the settled districts of frontier and beyond in Pakistan. And the fourth problem is the problem of Mujahideen who are operating in Kashmir against the Indian Army, and they have great public sympathy in Pakistan. Organizations like Lashkar-e-Tayyaba or Hizbul Mujahideen, Jaish Muhammad, they have support in the public of Pakistan. So therefore, it is an important issue to resolve the Kashmir dispute, which India and Pakistan both ought to understand. The last issue, which is most critical for Pakistan and for all of you, there is extremism in our society in certain areas, especially of Pakistan. Now this is most dangerous, because it is extremism which spawns terrorism. And I think we need to control extremism, and that is the difficult part, and that involves a long-term strategy. Because extremism is a state of mind. Nobody knows who is an extremist. So therefore, this is the fifth problem that we face in Pakistan. So this is what I wanted to say about the situation in Afghanistan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the latest situation is that in 2014, the coalition forces and United States is going to leave Afghanistan. Leaving is very good. I think Afghanistan should rule and govern itself. But the question for us to answer, for Pakistan, the danger lies in what will happen in Afghanistan when they leave. Now, if they leave with political and military instability in Afghanistan, I am afraid we may revert to two possible scenarios. One, 1989, where there was warlordism, everyone fighting each other, each ethnic group fighting the other and ravaging Afghanistan, 4 million refugees in Pakistan. Or we may revert to 1996 when Taliban came. So therefore, Taliban versus Northern Alliance again. But the impact will be on Pakistan first of all. We may get more refugees into Pakistan. Therefore, we have to guard against that and we have to look after our own interests beyond 2014. The impact, the fallout of what could happen in Afghanistan. We ought to be planning and executing a strategy to counter ill effects of what may happen in Afghanistan. I would now like to talk of United States-Pakistan relations. It is very important for an educated crowd like yours, which is sitting right in front of me. You must understand realities and not be carried by emotionalism. The world, we don't exist in a vacuum. We are a part of the community of nations. We exist through interacting with each other. We progress and develop through successful diplomacy, through successful socio-economic ties, trade ties with the world. Therefore, it is important how our relations with United States. It is important to have good relations with all countries of the world. Somebody very interestingly remarked that our relation with anyone should not be so bitter that we are spitted out, or it should not be so sweet that we are swallowed. So we have to have balance in our views, balance in our relations with all countries. And also that involves, of course, United States. Also, I would like to leave a food for thought. No country in the world is in love with any other country. It is interests, it is countries' own interests which dictate and govern relations with other countries. So therefore, Pakistan also needs to promote its own interest in with other countries and must understand what is those countries' interest in Pakistan, and that is how we should behave.